Good morning, agents, and welcome to another daily episode of Targeted Loot Today, your daily farming guide for Wednesday, February 10th. In this series, we cover a lot. We got the Targeted Loot map, and of course, Dark Zone exclusives, highlights for the weekly vendor resets in Cassie, and build and farming suggestions as well. This is Shadow Gaming, and if you're new to the channel or enjoy this video, consider pressing the thumbs up and subscribe buttons below, and if not, a thumbs down. And always remember to hit those bell notifications to all so you never miss a daily morning video, and comment below if you have any questions or feedback whatsoever. Otherwise, let's get this video started. Alright, agents, so starting off with the Dark Zones and of course vendor reset highlights, which are always in that big bottom left overlay that pops up right now. I highly recommend picking up the Orbit and DZ South with Perfect Finisher and the Carnage and DZ East with Perfect Sadist. Both of those are highly recommended for the DZ vendors, and as far as Cassie goes, she does have a really good surge you could pick up with Perfect Spike and also pretty much a God rolled Contractor's Gloves. Now over here in DZ West today, we got Petrov as Targeted Loot again, so you can farm for the Contractor's Gloves with that 8% damage to armor, but I highly just recommend getting it from Cassie for sure. All you have to do is reroll that third attribute slot and max it out, and then there's no real need to farm for it. And you guys know how to get to Cassie. If you don't, just comment below and I'll help you out. Next up in DZ South, we got Warlords, so you can farm for the Fox's Prayer knee pads. They come with 8% damage to targets out of cover, which is definitely worth farming for sure. I think every agent should have a pair of those. But of course, they're not Dark Zone exclusive, so there's no need to farm it today. You could farm knee pads over here at Air and Space Museum instead if you'd rather farm outside of the DZ for them. And then lastly, over here in DZ East, we do have a Dark Zone exclusive, and that of course is the Claws Out holster with 500% melee damage and 10% pistol damage. Highly recommended for any shield build users. You could use that or the Forge with 50% extra shield health, so I recommend getting the Claws Out for sure. And then of course you could also farm for the other three exotics, the Waveform, which you get at level 90 of the Season 4 reward track, and then the Dodge City holster and the Imperial Dynasty holster as well. But that's pretty much it for the Dark Zones. Let's go check out what we got on the North Side Invaded missions next. Alright, agents, North Side Targeted Loot highlights. Starting off with the Invaded missions, we got Federal Emergency Bunker, and then of course Bank HQ, Potomac Event Center, and then Manning National Zoo, which all leads to Tidal Basin Stronghold. Up here at Camp White Oak today, we got Hana-U, so you guys know you can farm for the Force Multiplier backpack with Perfect Combined Arms, which is being sold at the clan vendor as well. I can't remember if the rolls are really that great on it, but if you want to farm for a better one, you can do that at Camp White Oak today. Next up, we got Gloves as Targeted Loot at Coney Island Ballpark. Now, this is an Invaded mission. It's Black Tusk, or sorry, it's not Invaded, but it is Black Tusk. So this is a great day to get the BTSU Data Gloves for sure. That's going to grant overcharge to you or any ally that's at skill tier 6. And I don't know what the cooldown is on it, but it's quite a bit. But otherwise, that's definitely worth farming for. And of course, you'll have an extra 3% drop rate chance because it's Black Tusk. Next up, we got Golungir at Coney Island Amusement Park. You can farm the Anarchist Cookbook with Perfect Wicked. That's going to give you 18% weapon damage for a whole 27 seconds after applying a status effect. It's pretty much mandatory for any Eclipse Protocol build, or if you're running the ongoing directed bleed damage builds, which it really goes good on. And then lastly, we got masks over here at Manning National Zoo. So of course, there's two exotic masks, the Coyotes, great for DPS builds, and you only need one person to wear it in the group to get the full effects of it for everyone. And then you got the Vile mask. And of course, the Vile mask is great for status effects and skill damage. And if you really want to get the most bang out of your buck for it, you can put the Demolitionist specialization on, which is going to increase the base damage of your concussion grenade, which is what the debuff on the Vile mask is based off of, so it increases the damage of your Vile mask's debuff. You can of course farm for the Punch Drunk mask with 20% headshot damage baked into it, which is great on an all high-end headshot damage build, but I prefer farming the brand over the type. So if Douglas and Harding is available today, I'd recommend that for the Punch Drunk alone. Otherwise, Kinley College is open for another 5.5 days as of this recording, and the Summit you pick your own Targeted Loot. So let's now go check out what we got on the west and then east sides of Washington, D.C. Alright, agents, west side Targeted Loot highlights. Starting off with the gear sets, we got Foundry Bulwark at DARPA Research Lab. So remember this, the chest and backpack are Iron Horse raid exclusive. You can only get them from the normal difficulty, not discovery mode. So what I recommend is running the Emperor's Guard knee pads with that 1% armor regen, and then throw in some Bellstone Armory on top of that and max out an armor regen, and it's a perfect tank build for running up to all the way up to legendary. Next gear set we got is Ongoing Directive at DCDHQ. Now I got 2 bleed damage builds I always give you guys, and the first one you're going to need Ridge Race Pride, and then 4 pieces of Ongoing Directive, and then that Anarchist Cookbook backpack. Now that one I strongly prefer over this next one, but either way I run the Carnage with Perfect Sadist and the Scorpio with Septic Shock as both of these builds. So the second one would be the Vile Mask, 4 pieces of Ongoing Directive, and then you're going to run a Badger Tough backpack with the Creeping Death talent. Both of those are really great, but I prefer the Ridgeways Pride one, but you might not have the Ridgeways Pride. And then next up we got Aces and Eights at the White House. So this is a great headshot damage gear set. So what you want to do is mix 3 pieces of Aces and Eights, not 4, and then 2 pieces of Heraldo Holding, and that's going to be one with a backpack with Vigilance, or you could use Composure, and then the Chain Killer chest piece. And then I always run the Mantis with that. That's my primary MMR on these builds. And then of course you want like Ekim's Long Stick with Perfect Ranger or the White Death, the named MMRs, as your secondary. And then Tip of the Spear I just skip, and then True Patriot at Federal Emergency Bunker I highly recommend. My SMG build I'll put in the top title card right now. And that of course is that 4-piece True Patriot, Memento backpack, and Sokolov chest with Intimidate, running the Lady Death and the Mop with 10% armor on kill video. That one is a really good build for all content. And then of course as an alternative, what you could do is use 4 pieces of True Patriot, a Memento backpack, and run a Fenris chest piece with Intimidate, and then run the Chameleon. Either way they're both really good builds. I prefer the SMG one and the Lady Death because you could run faster and it gives you 42 clips, but it's up to you. The Chameleon is really good as well. And then lastly we got Future Initiative at Foggy Bottom. So just like Foundry Bulwark, the chest and backpack are still stuck to that Operation Iron Horse raid on normal difficulty. So in lieu of that, just get an Alp Summit chest piece with Empathetic Resolve, and then a backpack with Safeguard on it, preferably Murakami for extra skill duration, or you could use Richter and Kaiser or another Alp Summit piece. For normal targeted loot, what really stands out to me today is Providence Defense at Roosevelt Island. If you want to farm legendary for your best rolls possible on a Providence Defense piece or the Sacrifice with Perfect Glass Cannon, then today's the day to do that for sure. And of course you don't have to go to Summit for that. And remember, Perfect Glass Cannon amplifies your damage by 30%, but it amplifies your incoming damage by 60%. So you're going to end up shredding like paper, but also shred them like paper, whether it's PvP or PvE. So it's a very risk-reward, risky scenario gear. But I prefer Intimidate or Obliterate over it. But some people like it, and it's really great on skill builds as well. Especially running Technician, you could still run the weapon damage core. And really that's all I would recommend. You know, roll the holdings at the Pentagon. I always roll this with weapon damage, weapon handling, and headshot damage. I kind of negate crit hit chance and crit hit damage and make sure my headshot damage is above 200% on any headshot damage build. And then for Potomac Event Center, we have Alp Summit. So you can get the Percussive Maintenance backpack. It's a named one with perfect tech support on it, and it's going to give you 30% skill damage, just like perfect tech support, or sorry, perfect combined arms. But it's not going to give you that 10% skill haste that Hana Yu does. Anyway, let's go check out now what we got on the east side. Alright, Agents East Side target loot highlights. Starting off with the gear sets, I'll just do Hardwire to Grand Washington Hotel. So this build that I only know about through another YouTuber is 4 pieces of Hardwired and then a China Light chest piece with glass cannon on it and the Vile Mask. And you're going to run the Jammer Pulse, and I believe the Bulwark Shield with it. I'll double check and leave it in the bottom left overlay. Otherwise, that's the only hardwired build I know about in Title Update 12.1. Next gear set we got is Eclipse Protocol at Judiciary Square. I'll put my favorite fire damage build in the top title card right now in bottom left overlay. That is 4 pieces of Eclipse Protocol, the Imperial Dynasty holster, and 1 piece of Golon gear. Now, of course, you want to run that with Firewall. You could run it with Technician, but I run it with Firewall. And then I run, of course, the Firestarter Chem Launcher and the Stinger Hive with it, and the Pyromaniac named AR. And the other 2 is Rigger at Space Admin, great for instant cooldowns. I don't have an exact build yet for this, but I know the chest piece is definitely worth running for the extra damage buff. And, you know, it's good on a turret and drone build as well, but I don't want to give you guys anything just yet. I don't have anything out just yet. I'm still working on the best of build series videos. And lastly, for gear sets, we got Negotiator's Dilemma, Jefferson Plaza. I always give you guys my double LMG build, so that is 4 pieces of Negotiator's Dilemma, and then of course the Coyote's Mask. And then you could run Grupo Sombra, you know, if you want to run an AR or SMG, or Contractor's Gloves if you run around the Pestilence or Bullet King or double LMG like I do. For normal target loot, I'm going to start off with backpacks at District Union Arena because I know a lot of people are still looking for that Memento backpack with kill confirmed, and of course you can also get the Acosta's Go bag with one in the hand, but the Memento is really the prized backpack exotic piece in my opinion, and it just kind of maneuvers, overshadows the Acosta's Go bag. But you can run this on Legendary if you would like, and if you have the means to, if you need some help, you know, we always have a clan and Discord in the pinned comment below. And that's on all platforms, but I would try getting the Memento today at District Union Arena. You could run this really fast on Heroic and even Legendary with the right team. And then the second main highlight is rifles, of course, at Jefferson Trade Center. Now, the Merciless is one of the exotic rifles in this game, and it's a Hyenas faction exotic, so you have a very high chance of getting the Merciless to drop today if you run it on Heroic. That's going to give you about a 10% total chance. Otherwise, you can get the Diamondback, which is another exotic. You know, the Merciless has a lot of recoil, so you usually have to calm it down with Brace, 3-piece Striker, or Weapon Handling. And then with the Diamondback, it hits really hard, good in PvE and PvP, but only has 5 shots. And the Agonizing Bite can sometimes be annoying. Otherwise, I recommend the Baker's Dozen with Perfect Lucky Shot, and then of course the Surge with Perfect Spike. Both of those are really good, and you know, the Surge is being sold at the Cassie vendor, and of course Cassie vendor is right here, so that's where you're going to be looking, and she's open for another 15 hours, so only today if you want to grab it. And then of course we got Douglas and Harding at Viewpoint Museum for that Punch Drunk mask if you'd like to farm for it. We got Murakami at Capitol Building if you want to run it on Legendary and try to get that, you know, piece that you need maxed out or at wherever you need it to be. I always recommend Murakami, at least one piece with some skill duration on it for a Memento turret and drone build, which I'll be, you know, showing in my best of skill builds video that'll be coming out pretty soon. But it just makes it to where your turret and drone are kind of out there forever and never really has to, you just kind of pick up your turret and your drone's always flying around with Murakami with that Memento build. And then for chest pieces at American History Museum, this is a True Sons mission, so if you're looking for the tardigrade, today's your lucky day as well. There's a lot of exotic factions that are matching today. So tardigrade is the True Sons exotic, so that increases your drop rate chance by 3%, heroic is 7%, and then challenging is 5%. So if you run this today on Heroic, you have a 10% total chance of tardigrade, 10% total chance of Merciless, you know, you get it. Otherwise, you can farm for the Ridgeway's Pride if you've already completed the project you got from the summit and crafted it, or if someone wants to share it with you. So always let your teammates know, hey, this is what I'm farming for, what are you farming for, let's work together, we're both here to get loot, right? And last couple, we got knee pads at Air and Space Museum. You got 2 exotics, right? You got the Sawyers and the Ninja Bike Messenger knee pads, and both of them are like almost completely opposite. So for the Ninja Bike Messenger knee pads, it's a run and gun build type of situation. You vault or do cover to cover, and it gives you 25% bonus armor and instantly reloads your weapon. And then of course Sawyers, you sit still, and every second you sit still, you get 1% weapon damage. And that keeps going all the way up to 30% weapon damage, and the second you move even a flinch, it starts going down by 1%, and it doesn't stop going down, and I have an issue with that. Otherwise, you can farm the Fox's Prayer like I said earlier, but I'll move on to shotguns at Southwest. The 2 exotics you got, of course, is the Scorpio with Septic Shock and the Sweet Dreams with the Sandman talent. The Sweet Dreams is good on skill builds sometimes, you know, if you want to just melee one-hit kill any red or purple barred enemy, and the cooldown is only 15 seconds. But I believe the Scorpio completely overshadows it. I mean, you know, 1 shot you poison them, 3 shots confuse, 5 shots you shock them, and then of course 7 shots you get a 20% damage debuff on them. And then the other 4 best shotguns in this game would be the Rock and Roll Shotgun with Perfectly Extra, which is a DZ exclusive unfortunately, and then the Mop with 10% armor on kill, the Custom M870, and the Marine Super 90, and I always roll close and personal on those. And that's really all my recommendations are for the the Washington DC area, so let's move on to New York City now last. Alright agents, New York City targeted loot highlights, starting off with Hunter's Fury. The gear sets of course is Civic Center, and I'll put my favorite Hunter's Fury build in the top title card right now. That is 4 pieces of Hunter's Fury, and then of course the Death Grip gloves, the Memento backpack, running the Dark Winter and the Scorpio. Now of course there's an alternative way to run that if you would like for a little bit more damage and less survivability, and that would be 4 pieces of Hunter's Fury, a Sokolov chest with Intimidate or my favorite Obliterate, and the Memento backpack. I still run the Dark Winter and the Scorpio, and if you don't have the Dark Winter or the apartment, I would recommend a Vector like with Killer on it or Close and Personal. And you're always going to run that with 3 armor cores, 4 weapon cores, and the 1 skill tier you get from the Memento backpack, and I always run Gunner as a specialization. And the only other gear set is Strikers at the tombs today. I only recommend 3 pieces, never any more than that, and that is only for rate of fire and weapon handling. Otherwise, Striker is a dead set to me, to be totally honest. Next up, we got Badger Tough at Stranded Tanker. You can farm the 0F's chest piece with Perfect Unbreakable, which is perfect for DPS hybrid builds, and I really like it and have a great build centered around it in the apartment SMG. But you can pick it up at the White House as well if you'd like to. It is available for sale there. I just don't know if the rolls are good enough for you. It's personal preference if it's good enough. And then we got Bellstone Armory at 2 bridges. You can farm the everyday carrier perfectly efficient, but of course I never really recommend that because I have no build that utilizes that chest piece. I really only mention this because I always let you guys know the Liquid Engineer backpack with Perfect Bloodsucker is a Dark Zone exclusive, so you have to farm backpack targeted loot or Bellstone when it's targeted loot in the Dark Zone. And really there's only a few things left. We got of course Empress at Battery Park, and I'll put my turret and drone build up in the top right card and bottom left overlay as well. That is 3 pieces of Empress, 2 pieces of Hana U in the waveform holster, kinetic momentum on your chest piece, and the force multiplier backpack. And I always run that with the capacitor, and then of course the Harmony as your secondary. Another noteworthy thing would be that there's 2 named items from Empress. Neither of them are Dark Zone exclusive. Caesar's Guard chest piece with Perfectly Skilled and the battery pack with Perfectly Calculated. And really both of those are for like really quick cooldowns. It's great for like Seeker Mine builds. And last but not least, Walker Harrison Co. at Liberty Island. Probably most of you guessed it, Chain Killer chest piece with Perfect Headhunter that's going to deal 150% of your last killing blow straight to the enemy's head. And that is a lot. It used to be like I think it was like 1500% or something insane like that, and they dropped it way down, but it still does like 20 million a headshot on my Mantis, aces and 8s build. Alright agents, well that was it for your daily farming guide video today. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, consider pressing the subscribe and like buttons below, and if not, go ahead and give it a thumbs down. If you'd like to become a member for extra support and exclusive perks, you can click the join button below, and I just always want to say every day thank you and shout out to all 5 of my channel members. I appreciate everything that you guys do for the extra support. It really does help. That is basically how I got this new microphone and audio interface, and how I'm able to upgrade my computer more and try to give you guys more content. And always remember to check the video description and pinned comment below for gear and weapon spreadsheets, weekly vendor reset websites like Ruben makes, and then of course Shadow Gaming merch store, my Discord server, my Shadow Crew clan on all platforms. There's a whole bunch of stuff down there. So be sure to stay tuned for more daily Division 2 content. This is Agent Shadow signing off. I will see you in the next video. Take care agents, and thanks for watching.